We are streaming live now. Let's see. Facebook probably booted us because I waited more than I waited more than something. My headphone. I think my headphone cord is bad. I keep dropping out. There we go. Probably me standing up with my headphones and tearing the wire loose didn't do any good. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So Inflatable Falcon. I don't even know what episode or whatever it is.
I couldn't even. We started back in February.
We started way sooner than I thought. For some reason, I was thinking we started much later than that, and we did not.
Yeah, this is like episode 36 or something like that.
Yeah, it's. Here we go. Let me see if it's. I just want to see if the live thing is working on Facebook. And I don't know. Tomorrow I have the concert, the Return of the Jedi concert.
Oh, that'll be fun. I've always wanted to go to one of those, but I've just never. There hasn't been a Star Wars one here in a while.
Yeah, well, so it's I'm going with the droid builders. Marty's taking R2, and then I'm going as Dan's handler. So it's technically, I think it's a 501st event as well. But I didn't get into that, so I'm just doing the other. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think we're on. I don't know. Let me check. But yeah, no, I don't know what we have to talk about. I had this master plan of talking about like what we can do to get the inflatable Falcon. Like I was listening to your show and I was listening to Ken's show, and I was thinking we have to tighten up the inflatable Falcon. Like it's really cool to do 5 hours, but I wonder if that's hurting us more than helping us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, we could use an episode, but we'll have to wait till Ken's here, because I think we should build a framework for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, see, I'm losing. Yeah, I don't know. I keep losing channels on there. Luckily, my mic's not hooked up to the same plug. But yeah, no, I was just thinking, that was just me thinking out loud of what we should do. I don't know.
Yeah. And just to clarify, our first episode was February 16th. Yeah. So that was 25 weeks ago. And I think we skipped
maybe one or two.
One or two. So this is episode probably 23, 24.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's pretty good. I think that's more than I have in my regular podcast. Can I even call it a regular podcast anymore? But yeah.
Plus, if you think about it, if we were to split these up, we'd have like 100 episodes.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still thinking of doing that. I played around with that. I need like a rainy day with nothing else to do. My problem is when I think I have nothing to do, I get sidetracked. Like I go upstairs to work on that, and then I get sidetracked doing other things. So yeah, I don't know if our live feed is working, and I forget how to share this live feed once we're started in Facebook. Let me see. This probably will go horribly wrong. There we go. Oh, whoa. Well, I think I just invited everybody as a guest. I don't want that. Let's see. Edit post. Here we go. Yeah, I don't want that. Sorry. We don't.
Not even 5 minutes in and we're already off the rails.
I know, right? Well, we got one person watching, probably having a fun time. It's probably Ken. Ken checking in. He's like,
no, it's me.
Oh, it's you. Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little better. This really won't let me delete a post. Turn off post, edit, date, what? Move to trash. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, fixed. I don't know. I don't know what I've done, but yeah, I don't know how to share this once we have it started. Like I know how to share it. And wait. Can I leave and you still be going, or is that how? I don't know if that's how.
I think so. Yeah, because Ken and I hung out for an extra like 10 or 15 minutes last week.
All right, let me see what happens here. Leave.
It's just me. I don't know how much he wants me to entertain here, but yeah. Here we are. I had a new backdrop. Inflatable Falcon podcast, the best car bucket, Force Spine Star Wars. This is really cool. Da-da-da. Unifying Fandom Network, Inflatable Falcon, Force Spine Star Wars. $20 on Amazon. See if I can. Ooh, that was the wrong one. Can I go up at all in this chair, or is that not possible? I don't think this one has a sprocket. Yes, it does. I feel so far out of frame.
There we go. I don't know what happened, but it's we'll see. We're in. We're 6 minutes in, and we've already went terrible. But here we go. I don't know. What's this? Oh, that's my YouTube. Oh, okay. Hang on.
We're getting there.
Yeah, it's just like I'm very out of my sorts here lately. I think it's late that I'm. Here we go. Copy link. There we go. I got it. I think I got it. It's in. I don't know why it's appearing like it appears. It's not appearing like a picture, which I don't understand. Let me see. Facebook. View the event. We're going to try to get some. There we go. Share to feed. I don't know. I don't know what I did. Facebook. Edit. Save. Oh well. All right. Well, whatever. We're doing something somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess that's all that matters, right?
We're on YouTube somewhere. I know that. There am I. I don't know why. There we go. Anyhow, so I was thinking, we should. I was thinking whatever we can do to make the figure out a format for our show, like because I was listening to yours and you have a nice, like, concise show. Ken has not that they all have to be short, but I was like, we should determine like what length we want the show to be. We should figure out, like almost like have sections because we all bring something different, and I worry that if we're not careful, our differences just get muddled together, and we lose what makes the show fun.
That is a bold assumption for you to have that there is any sort of structure to my show.
No, but there is. You have a very good command of not only your show but your pacing. You might not think you do, but you do. Like when you listen to your show, you would not think that your podcast is less than a year old.
Well, less than 6 months old, for
right?
That matter.
So I'm saying, like, it doesn't sound that way, and I worry that if we're not careful, ours does sound that way.
Yeah.
Not that we have to be like pro whatever, you know. Yeah. Don't we have to be like pro streamers or anything, but
a little more professional is what you're getting at, yeah?
yeah, or just make it worth people's time. You know, like respect their time and our time to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see if I'm doing any, but so like, and then I was just I'm thinking of Andor, and I was thinking of all the people we could possibly see in Andor. Like when I was listening to yours, and I'm like, man, you know, there's a lot of people that we could see.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually don't remember all the people I said in my own episode. That was over a week ago.
Well, right. But I also think like I'm just trying to. Where's my? I had a list here somewhere. I'm trying to find my list, but I'm not. It's not doing me any good. Hang on, let me see. Anyway, but I was thinking like there's well, Krennic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I think he'll come later, which I think you might have even said. I think you might have even said on your podcast that he might come later.
Yeah, I think there could be a cameo of sorts.
Yeah.
In the first season, but I wouldn't hold my breath for it. But yeah, I would hope in season 2 he would at least play some sort of role.
Yeah. Well, and I think I also think I wouldn't be surprised if we get a stream of cameos. Not meant to be cameos, but just due to the fact that, you know, like we might get a passing of Vader. We might get like the Emperor, like I think you said either on our show or your show, where you might see him on a news channel, you know, like the Emperor talking or something like that,
mm-hmm.
which would be cool. Afra is one that we could possibly see.
Oh yeah. I just see the one character I hope we don't see is Vader, because for the simple fact of I think it would be very out of place.
The only thing I could see Vader is, and this would be my cameo thing, is if they're coming to destroy a planet and, you know, pull all its wealth out, and Vader just, it's almost like in the background, like someone's talking to him on a comm or something. You know? Yeah, I agree with you in the sense I don't want him to overuse Vader.
Mm-hmm. And like, don't get me wrong, like Zoe and I talked about this on the episode of Star Wars Geek Girl that we did. Like, all Vader is good Vader. Like, I'm thrilled anytime I get to see Vader, but I think there is some sort of, you have to be careful with how much you use Vader and in what context.
Well, he would become to use the old adage, the twirly mustache villain that never succeeds. You know, like, yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, like they could do, like I would like to see, like my dream would be to see Afra and 000
in
BT, Callus. I wouldn't mind seeing Callus.
That's right. I forgot he would be around at this time.
Yeah, like or just refer to him.
Yeah,
because I don't know if the Lasat is going to translate well on film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it was kind of a Lasat, I think, in Mandalorian when they went to rescue what Bill Burr's character on the scrap planet, that looked Lasat like the one person working with him. So I don't know how well Lasat would translate on film.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah. I mean, even Jaro Tarple didn't look that great.
Yeah, so that's So that could be either Callus not in that or Callus talking about that. I'm hoping. My dream is the first 2 episodes, since they're giving us 3. I'm hoping the first 2 episodes are more of the montage to catch us up to where Andor at present time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get like a montage of like when he was 6, and when he came to his planet, when he started. Because to me, it looks like that he's basically like he's not really a rebellion guy. He's more or less just helping himself to stuff.
Yeah.
And someone gives him that charge to do a bigger, be the bigger good, like he similar to the Ezra storyline,
Yeah.
where Ezra was just a street rat. We could see Ezra's parents, because
True.
they were the the rebel podcasters, or whatever you want to call their little basement setup.
Right.
Um,
Well, I still think Stellan Skarsgård's character is going to be that one to like basically what Kanan was to Ezra, to give him that spark.
And then like we could see some of the officers that we saw in like Price. We could see Price. Some of the people we have in that we've seen in Rebels. Trying to think who else. Some of the bounty hunters, like we could get Boba Fett at his prime.
Mm-hmm.
We
Bring in Daniel Logan.
Daniel Logan as Boba Fett. We could see. I don't know if they'll use Fennec, because I think they've got her in with Bad Batch. That's where I think like those clones come and like, so my Baby Yoda moment that I'm curious what they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with either disposal or an uprising of the clones. Like, I wouldn't be surprised of a subplot of, because you have these people that aren't real people, like they're somewhere between a droid and a human, really. I mean, they're human, but they're not, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have a childhood. They were, but the Empire doesn't want that, you know what I mean? Like, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of either extermination of the clones mentioned, or phasing out / and extermination of some, you know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't be, it just seems that would be something that might be touched on.
Yeah, I see. I think when you say that, I think like something along the lines of like Umbara, where you just see them all just like, okay, hey, we're gonna have you guys go fight this group of rebels on this planet.
Yeah,
and just have them wipe each other out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a subplot of, because that could be Forrest Whitaker's character,
Saw Gerrera,
because he was with the clone. He learned a lot of his combat skills from the clones,
right?
So, so that could be another part of his storyline. So
yeah. I'm really, again, I said this is my show. I know that. I'm surprised that they got Forrest Whitaker to come back.
Yeah, well, he had the taste of Star Wars fandom,
Yeah, and he was an uber popular character. So
he was a popular character that we never thought would be popular. Like, if you watch the Clone Wars and someone said, here, make a list of people you're probably going to use later, I don't know if he would have came up on my list.
I don't know if he would come up on anybody's top 15, top 20, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I could think of so many others. Like, I would have said Embo before him. Like, give me some Embo. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Hondo.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing a live action Hondo. I'm hoping that we see very little live action Jedi, personally, other than flashbacks.
I don't think we'll see any, honestly.
I know, but I'm just, I hope we don't. Other than, like, again, like, to me, like to me, what I would love to see as a cameo is Cassian Andor on Tatooine in a bar, and you just see Obi-Wan walk through for no other reason other than to walk through, and they don't even make it as blatant as it's that you and I don't even see it until someone tells us about it on YouTube the next day. Like that's what I want. That's the stuff I want.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be smart about this show. I think because this was the last show to get filmed out of, because Disney films everything in blocks.
Yeah.
And it's really weird how they do it, because I didn't know this until someone had pointed out from the Marvel shows. So like I don't know what the scheduling looked like for Star Wars, but I know Disney has their structure to where the Marvel shows, it was Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier all got filmed at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And then maybe a month later, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel all got filmed as well. So all these shows were filmed at the exact same time. And Andor, I think, being the last of them, kind of got hopefully some of the criticisms that were,
And it's funny because this was the first one planned.
Right.
Right. I mean, Boba Fett was and Obi-Wan were talked about, but this was one like right after Celebration, one of the Orlando, they were talking about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do think it's weird that people are excited that it's not filmed in the volume. That to me is just like 1 minute the volume is the greatest thing. Now not filming in the volume is the greatest thing. Like just be happy if it's getting filmed. I don't care where they film it. They can film it on a sound stage. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm excited that it's not 100% on the volume, for the simple fact of I like the idea of like actually going out and filming on real sets, but the volume is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't understand how that all of a sudden became a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, like if you think about it, you can create exactly what you want as your vision of a backdrop in the volume. You can't always get that on a practical set.
Well, in the volume is not green screen. You still have practical effects in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the background, so you still have to do the camera work and the digital work of the set piece. And I like it because then we're not limited to where they film. There's some cool places on Earth, but then you're like, well, okay, we can make Tatooine look like, or we can make Mos Eisley look like a really big city. Like, we can do all that. So,
right.
But yeah, that's cool. Now, so I don't know. Others, speaking of costumes, when's your date of your first troop yet?
Still, I'm trying to figure out the logistics of it. At the very latest, it's going to be September 2nd.
Okay.
But there is I got this Saturday off because I've got a concert.
Okay.
There's a troop this Saturday that's from 10 to noon, but I have to leave at 2:00.
Well,
so
you're in soft goods. It's not like you're a TK. You could rush it. No, I understand. You don't want, the last thing you'll do is spend money for a concert and be tired, because any costume, your body is tired after wearing it.
Right. So it's one of those things where like I'm not so worried about being tired. I'm worried about crunching myself for time, because I have to leave it so the troop is about a half hour from home.
Okay.
Which is, God, I love it when they're that close, because every other one that I'm looking at, it's like, it's like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But so it's like a half hour from home. So the troop ends at noon. I'd have to drive 30 minutes home. I know I'm going to need a shower because I'm going to be sweating buckets because it's all outdoors.
Yeah.
Then I'd say, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes to shower and then dry myself off and leave. Then I have to drive 30 minutes back to pick up the person that's going with me, and then drive an hour to Cleveland.
Well, and I would, as much as you want to get your first troop in, I would also recommend don't do one where you rush, because some of the most fun I think back of my first troops was the troop, but then going out and hanging and eating after.
Yeah.
So I mean, you do what you want to do, but I would not recommend rushing your first troop, like unless it's like a super cool one and stuff. But um,
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm excited for the September 2nd one, because it's it's a big event in Canton. It's called First Friday, but so it's a cosplay show that's taking place during First Friday.
yeah,
But First Friday is like just a giant block party. So there's, restaurants are serving food, drinks, people are out having a good time. So I would assume, because like I've got people who are going to First Friday that I'm either going to meet up and have them go to the cosplay show with me,
yeah.
or I'm just going to meet up with them afterwards. Because I'm
Well,
sure
that's
that's not exactly what their idea of Friday night would be.
right, but it is nice it is nice because you'll get to hang with your people that you troop with, and hopefully get to go out to eat with them after. But also, some of your friends will get to see what you do. Because
Mhm.
when you talk about doing it and you show them pictures, there's nothing like when they see the interaction of what we do. You know, to the novice of the people that don't understand it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend just doing that other than the other, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I trooped the Reading Phillies. It wasn't an official troop because I didn't sign up, but I drove Zoe, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw my armor in the car, and if it wasn't crowded, I'll just jump in, and it was fun. It was hot, man. This heat is ridiculous.
Yeah. The last few days we've lucked out, at least here here in Ohio, where I mean it's been like overcast,
Oh,
but
I would take some over. It rained and it was still hot. I was outside working with the garage door open and it was raining and it was still stinking hot. I was
Mhm.
like, man.
Yeah, and that's the worst because then it's muggy and humid
Mhm.
and sticky. Ugh, that's how it was
And
a couple days here.
like I said, I'm working on rubber shorts. I'm working on making this mold for 3PO. And the problem is, like, if you have a 3D printer screw up, the most it's going to cost me is a spool of filament. Like, if it just goes off the rails and I lose a whole spool. But if I mix silicone, I could lose $100 worth of silicone in 5 minutes,
Yeah,
because of temperature difference. And so I'm just like, so.
yeah. I
But
need to get back working on something though. Like
yeah,
like I've been exhausted these last couple weeks. Just 'cause I've been working so much. But like I'm getting to that point where it's like, okay, I haven't done anything since June.
yeah.
So I really I need to get on something and work on something.
I want to work on a film. I want
Yeah.
Matt to get his film going, but I don't. He hasn't got me a date yet. So he wants to shoot some more combat scenes at that same place, but he wants to shoot them like up close and stuff like that. So I don't know if that means he doesn't like the footage we have, and that's his nice way of saying it, or he just wants more to add to that.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I guess if you get another day, um, of that same shoot, you're kind of rolling the dice, but you might get some more troopers to kind of fill out the.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the big thing. I think he wants to see if we can get more numbers, but he won't give me a date. So I'm maybe it's because of watching that Light and Magic thing. I'm just like, man, I just want to make some more Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for. I'm next week. You and Ken might have to do it alone because like Zoe leaves Thursday morning, so I'm probably not going to be available.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be a mental disaster. So, because I mean, she's this the reality of it is she's going to school and internships and all that. But if she gets a job, that's it. She might not come home.
Right.
Like, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. So, to be honest with you, so.
Yeah, we got it. I'll force Ken to do another episode of the Beskar Bucket with me. Get some more content out.
But so here was my thinking of the structure of our show, and you tell me what you think. So I was thinking we should shoot for an hour to an hour and a half mark, because I was just looking at podcasts in general. I was looking at all the podcasts in my feed, and I was looking at as someone who listens to them. And I noticed that I rarely have unlistened podcasts that are under an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at my unfinished list that I never get to, or that keep getting building up in my podcatcher, they're always over an hour and a half. You know, that's just and so that's just my sample of me.
Yeah.
But because then I was thinking, like, if we did, it doesn't mean we're not on for an hour and a half. But I was thinking, like, hey, do we come on at 8, just us guys, and do a pre-show, like, just not stream it, get everything ready so it seems mildly professional,
Right.
you know, and then we do our hour and a half, and then if we have more to say, then we stop it, just like we did that one time, and because we got more viewership that time we split it. Like, it seems like after an hour our numbers drop off.
Yeah.
And I don't know with a really long podcast if anyone's going to go back on YouTube and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now again, I'm going to split them up and put them on Anchor, I believe. But I'm thinking, you know, like we just think of, like, I think I like your interviewing style on your show with your insights, but I think that the strengths we have is we're all into costumes, and we come from different generations of stuff too, you know. Oh, that's Forces Behind just got tagged me in something. But our strengths are our costume stuff, and I also think the other thing that oh, there we go. I don't know what that is. The other thing we have going for it is, now that you're in the group, we have more. Soon we'll have more events and stuff to talk about in costumes,
Right?
And stuff, and we can get Ken in the 3D printing, and then he'll hate all of that even more once you get 3D, the curse of 3D printing.
Yeah, he doesn't have to just listen to us complain about it. He can actively participate in the complaining.
I do like your banner though. That banner is nice. Is that a cloth banner, like a flag material?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This thing is sweet. I love it.
Now, where'd you get that?
Amazon.
Okay. I just was because that's what I got Zoe's thing, and I got like the Ralph McQuarrie picture of C-3PO and R2, the original one he painted.
Mm-hmm.
I got that done for a friend as a gift one time, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna send it and see if any copyright thing hits, and they're just like, there you go. So
yeah,
you know.
So funny thing about, speaking of copyright, so we were talking about it at the tail end of our show last week, trying to get some shirts done.
Yeah.
Oh, I got slapped with a big old copyright strike.
Oh, real? On who? On your for which one? For which part?
The Unifying Fandom Network logo.
Oh, really?
Because we have the Star Wars logo in there, and I sent them a novel on, and I hit every single part, because in the United States there is a thing, for those of you who don't know, that is called the fair use doctrine. And I went through and I was like, it is fair use because it is not for profit. We are not selling these. This is strictly for personal use. We have modified the original design in a way that it's not it's not a direct use of their logo. It is in tandem with our own. And I swear to God, you could probably copy paste that onto a piece of paper and it would be 2 pages long.
Yeah.
But they're like, nope, goes against our own rights.
Well, like Zoe had some shirts done with her logos over time, and it's funny because not TeePublic. Yeah, TeePublic has knocked down a bunch of her shirts. But I can search anything on TeePublic and find things that are blatant ripoff. Like, I can find a Stormtrooper head, just a Stormtrooper head, and someone, you know what I mean? So it's all who's looking and who, you know. I think there for a while, about 4 years ago, I think there was like someone disgruntled at me or the girl or the girls, and they were just reporting everything on on T Public. But yeah, that's. I mean, that's not funny, but it's weird.
Yeah, I think if I really wanted to, I could get away with the inflatable Falcon and maybe the best Gar bucket. I think
Mhm.
those two I might be able to get away with. But what I was thinking about doing is just with the Unifying Fandom Network, just totally getting rid of the. Actually, let me just do this visual reference. So just
I'll get
continuing this bar just all the way across and just eliminating the Star Wars
yeah,
text.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Ken and I were working on something secretive. So there was another aspect of that I have to rework before I, because I don't know if it's like how YouTube is, where it's like a 3-strike system.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
I think they just flagged my designs in my account, so I can't use
Oh
them.
yeah. Well, I know with T Public, they just take them off. They don't keep count because, like I said, there for a while, it was like I was getting a shirt knocked down every week.
Hmm.
But T Public isn't. You get $1 for every shirt you sell, so it's not like I'm like I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I put in our group chat earlier today. It's like, yeah, the Chinese do not give a damn unless
Well,
as long as you pay them.
it's funny because someone was selling flags at the Legion at the garrison level, right? And under the rules, the 501st is set up through Disney or well Lucasfilm. I always say Disney, and I got to stop saying Disney because Lucasfilm is owned by Disney, but it's still Lucasfilm. So I feel sometimes like I don't give Lucasfilm credit because they are different companies. They're run differently. They have different, you know. So Lucasfilm has specific rules that the 501st and all these have to follow, and there's rules. You're not supposed to make a profit on any of this stuff. Well, they were someone in our garrison, our merch guy was selling. They were selling flags for like $25. I was like, that seems like someone's making some profit. And to
Right.
prove, and they're like, no, you can't make them. So, and they were one sided. So just to prove the guy wrong, I went on Amazon. I copied and pasted his design right in Amazon. I got a 2-sided flag for like $14, and I got it in like a week, as opposed to like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just to prove them, like, look, someone's making money off of these guys. You know, I'm not against people making money, but if the rules say you're not allowed to make money, then don't make money.
Right.
Yeah. But I would have, if I was younger, I would have invested in a embroidery machine when I just had money to blow. I would have, you know what I mean? Get a $6,000 embroidery machine. I'd be embroidering shirts all day. Like
Yeah.
the 3D printers are fine, but you know that you earn that money when you 3D print for people.
Hmm.
And this
Yeah.
heat isn't making, as much as I love PLA, these heat waves are not making PLA all that much fun to work with in the heat. You let it sit out for, you know, because Marty and I used to test it. We used to we're going to sit it in the car, and we had no problem with PLA until this summer. This summer has just become so hot, you know.
Yeah, it's just cooking plastic. I remember
Yeah.
when I was driving home from the Tuscan build party, um I stopped to get gas, and like I noticed the top of the face shell, like because I was just
Yeah,
making sure everything was like in order.
yeah,
And I like the top of the face shell was getting mushy. It's like I've been driving in the air conditioning for 30 minutes.
yeah, yeah,
How are you already getting soft? So I had to
yeah,
cover everything up that, wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, again, this heat made me learn how to fix automotive air conditioning. I did learn that.
a valuable skill for.
I thought I had that whole car tore apart. I thought, man, this is going to end horribly. And I went and bought. I think I told you guys the I had to go cross reference numbers that didn't exist to find out that I needed a piece from a Prius,
Mhm.
and it worked. I was like, because I just spent a crap ton of money and I didn't get any air, and there's one piece sitting there. I was like, well, I'm just gonna pull this out, and when you go into what is it? Advanced Auto, and you won't tell them what car it's from, it freaks them out. I was just like, can you cross-reference this number for me? So
yeah. Hey, a lot of those guys, their favorite saying is my favorite saying. Look, I just work here, man.
yeah. See, I was a parts guy in a Chevy dealer, so we had to learn like the I forget what the codes were, the grouping codes, and so we had to learn like how to find, like if someone just came in with a part, I had to learn how to look at all, So I expect more out of my parts guys. So
yeah,
but back to Star Wars.
right.
I saved some of my air conditioned parts. They went in my Greebly box. A couple of them I was like, oh, these would look good on a droid, so I have a Greebly box now. So
Hey, that's a win-win if you ask me. You fix
yeah.
your AC, and you've got more stuff to kit
And I got
bash
some
with.
Greeblies. So but yeah, I gotta rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch the Light and Magic, but the Industrial Light and Magic one. But that's one again. I said before that gets me happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, I'm really pacing myself with it. Like I powered through the first 3 episodes by the second day, and I'm like, okay, that was a lot to take in. I got to slow down. So I watched the 4th episode last week. I'm going to watch the 5th episode this week. And I'm going to finish it next week.
It's just an inspiring story. Again, I can't say it enough, man, to people that I know it's just you're just the one person listening right now, but there's people that are listening to this, man. Just go after what you want. You get one go at it, man. And the stuff you think is important in your 20s and 30s sometimes is not nearly as important as you think. Because I should have just drove out to California when I was 20.
Yeah. Hey, this last week I thought about it. Like, I could just.
Well, you can go to Long Island and get a job with the prop dude, Spina.
That's true. That's very true. My biggest hang up though is I have so much stuff. I have no idea how I would transport half
I'm
of it.
telling you, you got to look up Tim O'Sullivan. He's in your garrison, and I don't know. I think he's in Cleveland. I want to say Cleveland.
That sounds right.
But he has like a prop house. Like his stuff is nicer than what's coming out of prop houses right now. And he's such a nice person. Like the ET he is building makes me want to learn robotics. I mean, learn animatronics.
Yeah.
And then Marty and I were talking about today. We were like, we should build. Him and I are thinking of building Chopper together. So we're going to just say, okay, like this week when I meet him tomorrow, we're going to decide, okay, between now and a week from now, we're both going to have the left foot shell printed. That's it. And then the next week we'll say part whatever. And while part whatever is printing, our other job is to have that one finished. We're just going to do it. We're each going to be working on one, the exact same one, and just just to get stuff, because I feel like I have all this 3D printed stuff and I don't have anything done.
Oh yeah, no, you're preaching to the choir.
So
I'm still sitting on this Commander Cody helmet. I printed that 18 months ago.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's my biggest flaw is I'll print stuff. I'll finish something, but I'll print another thing. I'm like, oh well, I'm done printing all this. I don't want my printers to just sit here. So I'm going to finish this while this is printing. And then it just turns out to where it's like, okay, well, I just didn't finish those. And I started another project when I was done printing that.
Yep. Yeah, that's what. And then I just get tubs of printed parts. And I don't need tubs of printed parts.
Yeah. Don't forget, you still got clone armor to finish too.
Got clone armor. I was looking at that today but I was like, I don't know if I want to set this ABS. I was going to paint it. I was going to give it just a once over of white primer because I'm going to have to build it back up because they're not knocking. I can tell when that was painted because of the style of weathering that was used. And when all those clones came out, they did like a brush on paint weathering, and it looks fine from 5-6 feet away, but it just looks muddy to me.
Yeah.
It looks more like they rolled around in oil than just got dirty over it, because there's no rhyme or reason. Like there's like if you weather any armor, the high parts should be clean, because that's what you bump into stuff. It should be,
Yeah.
or the high parts should have silver where the paint was scratched off.
Mhm.
So I got to hit it with that. But it was just so hot today. I was like, if I put that out there, it's just going to come out like a pancake.
Yep.
I mean, the ABS is pretty. I would say if my next adventure, like I'm toying with the idea of a bigger resin printer, because I'm working. This is my chest box.
Oh, sweet.
So I got to take all the stand. I printed it standing up this time.
Yeah.
And it's not. The black look. It doesn't look as good on the camera, but it's really smooth. So I'm gonna clean this up and work on my chest box. I'm like doing that on the side, but because I have Wendy Darling out of West Virginia is going to give me a price for the inner robe. That's the only soft part I need now, the inner robe. So
yeah, then you just need to do the belt and finish the belt boxes, the chest box, and you're done, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And
So
then find a lightsaber.
Yeah, but again, if worst case is, I'll print one just to wear on my belt. Because after carrying one, I like being Vader not carrying one. I don't. I just I just feel more, because then I can cross my arms and stuff like that. But that made me start thinking of resin. Like I looked at that and I was like, man, what if I resin print the coin slots and the buttons and stuff like that? And it made me think of some of these, because my resin printer is okay, but most of the guys that have my little Photon, they change them over to a 4K lens, and the cost of changing it over to a 4K lens, I can just buy another one.
Yeah,
because it's like $79 or something like that, and some change to convert it over. Plus, I got to do it. Where I think for $99 I can buy a 4K Photon.
Hey, I look, I live and die by Creality.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend I think it's the L. I hate that they've got these long, like, serial number names.
Yeah.
It's whatever the one that ends in H is.
Now, see, I think my resin printer, my next one, is going to have a lift off top.
Yep,
instead of the open. I have the open door on it, and I hate that thing, because then you just need, like, the door has to, so
yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking that I don't really have extra money to spend it until I see what's up with Zoe in California and all that stuff. I'm trying not to spend any large amounts of money on anything. So I want to make sure I can help her out. And but this is like, Andor is going to be the first series I didn't get to watch with her, so that's going to be weird.
Yeah. Hey, you could always do the Discord call.
Yeah,
you can watch it together.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like we can't do the first 3 episodes. I'd have to get up at like 2 a.m. just to get them done before I go to work.
Yeah.
So
it's right. When you go back soon, don't you?
A little less than 2 weeks. I go 25th or 26th, one of those days. I don't know.
Being an adult is throwing me off. So I forget that school doesn't actually start, like, K through 12 doesn't start till like the end of August.
Well, it used to, like when I went to school, it didn't start till after Labor Day, and then it slowly, summer just slow. When I became a teacher, summer just became shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So,
yeah.
And I don't get paid over the summer, so
that hurts too.
Yeah, well, I do have mine set to I get less of a paycheck, so it does spread out. But yeah, it's not my yeah. When I retire, I think I'm going to go work at Dutch Wonderland. I'm going to work somewhere where I'm off in the winter, because it would be nice to go on vacation when everything's not crowded, which I know is like a first world problem. But like, I can't, like, all these people that go on vacation in September, I'm like always envious of them, because there's no crowds and stuff. Yeah. And I'm still waiting. I possibly have Celebration in the spring. Steel City,
Yeah.
their hotel block is sold out for December.
Already?
Yeah, you can't even book a room in December.
They
I'm
haven't even
hoping.
announced the date yet.
Yeah, well, someone posted the date up somewhere, and so I went and checked, and the hotel's sold out. Now I'm hoping that DoubleTree is holding a block of rooms, so when that code is released, so Monday I can
Yeah.
book my room. Because it's hard once you stay at that hotel. It is hard to go to Steel City and not stay at that hotel.
Well, yeah, because I mean, especially for like us, we're because I'm sure you'll go as a stormtrooper. You're gonna go
Yes,
as Vader,
well,
and
yeah.
like
Vader's my goal, and 000 or possibly C-3PO for Sappy if C-3PO is done by then.
right. So like you can't do that and stay at another hotel
Right.
because you
Right.
can that those aren't kits that you can just get ready in a parking lot.
They should knock that stupid Home Goods across the street, knock that down, and put it in our hotel.
Yeah.
Knock down. What's the other thing on it? Is that like a Michaels or a? Knock that down and put a hotel there too.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Michaels.
I don't know. Just that's my only irritant, because that's the whole, like, to me, that's what I like about Steel City is being stuck in that environment. You're stuck in con mode 24 hours a day for a
Right.
couple days. Because there's Oaks, PA around here that has beautiful cons, and the place is wonderful. Like, it's like as big as they need it. Like, they just have rooms. They just keep opening them up. It's nothing but it's an old industrial park they turned into a convention center, but there's no hotels around. So even if you go for 3 days, you have to go a little bit away to get a hotel. Like, it's because it's an industrial park, so you have to leave the industrial park to go to a hotel, and it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like Cleveland, the Fan Expo Cleveland, it's nice because there's hotels nearby,
Yeah,
but nothing like Steel City where it's literally the same parking lot. Like it's like you got to walk at
yeah,
least a block or two.
yeah. Like, Celebration was nice because we were considered far away from the convention center, and we were a block, not even a block. And the two closest, like if I would have realized where we were staying, they were acting like you had to walk forever. But you're in California weather, and I mean, it's like a block. All those hotels were nice because they were basically like and everyone was in Star Wars mode. But if you get like Steel City, like there's no other ones around, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping they open them up. That's my only gripe. And then again, I'm going to see what's up with Celebration. I'm just going to see if Zoe gets a panel or not. So
Yeah, because you applied, didn't you?
they didn't open the panel one up yet for panels. But if they give her one, then we'll figure it out. I'll be sleeping on the street.
Yeah, well, the London streets no less. What are you going to do about tickets, though?
Oh, they'll give me tickets. They'll give me tickets.
They'll give you tickets.
I had my tickets I bought. In every celebration, I bought my own tickets, but they always give me 5 full sets of tickets.
What? Hold on. This is Mike, I've known you for almost 2 years now. This is a revelation that I have just now.
Yeah. So when I was in Celebration, I had to buy all my day tickets. I bought for every day.
Yeah.
And then, but the problem is with the panels, they don't tell you till 3 weeks, 4 weeks before. Oh, here's your tickets. So you know what I'm saying. So they don't promise you tickets, but every time they've given me tickets, so you still have to buy them.
Right.
So yeah, because I mean, like they said, who's going to be like this past time? They're like, who's going to be on your thing? And I was like, okay, Zoe, Axel, I'm going to be running sound. Sal will sing the intro, and then we're going to have Lizzie or a guest. I was like, okay. So then I just went, and now no one else needed tickets, so I just picked them up. But I never want to count on that, because what if it changes?
Right.
So
why haven't you thought about applying for the Inflatable Falcon as well?
Oh, I probably will. I'll do that too.
Oh.
So I mean, I don't know if like Like I'll apply for everything and anything, any panel. I mean, the only like I applied for CreatorCast before. You know, Zoe's just since she's done 2 celebrations and then she's done 2 other cons for Reed Pop. I think they know her a little better.
Right.
So
True.
like they had her. She was the MC for the cast of Rebels at the Philadelphia Con. So it was Steve Blum, his wife, and the guy who did the voice of Vader, and he also did some other voices. I forget his name now, but Zoe was the MC for the Star Wars animation panel.
Wow.
So that was 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. That was her freshman year of college. It was the weekend before she went to college. She got to MC that, which was really cool.
Yeah, I bet.
So, but again, you try not to take any of that stuff for granted because you also don't want to be that. You don't want to be that last person that pushed them over to not do that for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I would, and that's why I always told him, look, I bought my tickets, but I would like, because I always wanted the artwork. So like the one time, like in Chicago, was it? Chicago, they forgot to give us the media badge. She was supposed to get media badges, and they accidentally give us exhibitor badge or something. I forget which one. They give us the one with the Lando, and it had Lando on. So they're like, yeah, we're cool. We want the Lando one. But then it kind of screwed us because there was some media times we could have got in, but we didn't have the media badges. So, and like when they went to Orlando, like they had a media room set up. So if you had a media badge, you could go in and charge your phone, and they had an additional Wi-Fi network for you if you wanted to post up and stuff like that. So that was old Reed Pop. They got rid of a lot of that because there were a lot of people, I think, that became demanding for a media badge, and it kind of ruined it for a lot of the other people.
Yeah.
And it's changed. Like podcasting went from very few podcasters to then when COVID hit, you had podcasters on top of TikTokers. You know what I mean? On top, like the media changed, and unfortunately, for some of the people that got in and got to do free stuff, then they didn't reciprocate and broadcast stuff they were supposed to. They just, hey, we got in free, and and didn't really. So, and that kind of ruins it for everybody. But yeah, I'm waiting for I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of applications when when it opens up. I'll just, like Zoe's, I applied for that last one 3 times because they kept changing the date, and they're like, well, just reapply. Because I'd call them, maybe I just reapply. So I just reapply and I just reapply, so.
Yeah, that would be sweet if we celebration London, the Inflatable Falcon live in studio.
Well, the other thing is you got to see if Reed Pop comes around in Ohio too.
Okay.
And put in for those, because the company, like, again, it is one of those things where if your name is recognized, because they come around and watch your broadcast, like they'll send people in to see what you do to make sure it's entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, because that's part of that's part of what they're doing. Like the Reed Pop, the one Reed Pop guy popped in and saw, and I lucked out because Steele Saunders helped Zoe out both times he jumped in,
Yeah. All right.
And the first one, Zoe and Lizzie had people crying. They had some, like the one writer from Coffee with Kenobi, she was crying. So
let's see here. Events. I forgot C2E2 was this past weekend.
Yeah, I didn't hear any announcements though.
Yeah, nothing fun, but not Star Wars related, but
that's all I care about.
Yeah, well.
Here I'm looking at Reed Pop does. Oh, wow, they got a lot of their current vacancies. Look at that, man. There we go. There's the job for you right here. Digital advertising campaign specialist. Merchandise coordinator, branded events. Another one. Content manager for Comic Cons.
If only I had a degree.
No, but listen again. Let me see if this requires a degree. Let's see. Responsibilities. Okay. Required skills, tracking strong leadership, previous experience managing people. Okay, relationship. There's no degree required for the content manager Comic Con. 40 hours a week, full time. Didn't say anything about pay. You'd have to move to Connecticut.
Hey, I'd be closer to you guys, I think.
Yeah, you probably would, or at least easier to get to.
True.
Dude, I'm just telling you. My first management job. So I worked in a restaurant. Loved restaurant work. I thought I was going to do it for my whole life. And we worked at Missy and I worked at a Miller's Smorgasbord. Did back in the 80s, did 2.5 million a year, something like that. They were big deal. They always hired outside management to run the kitchen. And they put up a kitchen manager, food service coordinator, which is the equivalent of a chef without the training. And it paid well, but they would not hire in-house. So I went to the break room, called them up, lied about my name, set up an appointment, right? Next day, I set it up during my lunch break, threw a suit on, went there, and they hired me. So,
Yeah, jeez.
It is what it is. Like again, like like I said, I'm looking at content manager for Comic Cons, and I mean, go to the Reed Pop page. I mean, they have content marketing coordinator, merchandise coordinator, branded events, marketing coordinator for Comic Con, digital advertising campaign specialist. See, a lot of this stuff, like when you look at content manager for Comic Con, digital advertising for campaign manager, all of this stuff is you can't fake knowing some of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been to a Comic Con and you're that right demographic, you can't not fake. You can't not know it either. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. Just saying. All these things, man. I'm just here. Let me see what events they run. They run C2E2. They run, okay, that's UK. They run Emerald City Comic Con, Pacific Northwest, Florida SuperCon, GameIndustry.biz, MCM Comic Con, that's UK. Minecraft Festival, which I didn't realize. They run New York Comic Con. I didn't realize Reed Pop did that.
They do all the packs. I knew that.
Yeah. Star Trek Mission. Oh, there we go. Mission Chicago. Look at that. Star Trek Mission Chicago and Star Wars Celebration. There you go.
Hey, I think we should apply to be on the podcast stage at Star Trek Mission Chicago.
There you go.
I'm sure they'd be thrilled about that.
Well, the new Star Trek stuff coming out looks good to me.
Yeah, my dad watched it. He thoroughly enjoys it. I just
don't need one more thing to want to build, make, or do.
Yeah.
To be totally honest with you. Oh, good. There we go. Inflatable Falcon is showing up on my feed now. I was worried we were. No, but again, I'm just saying this to you, and I say this to anyone your age. I'm 54. 24 to 54 goes way faster than you think. And if you're not careful and you put things like you think you're going to do certain things and you blink, and it's and you're 54.
Mhm.
And I'm happy with my 54. But when I was 20, there was, I mean, when I closed my comic book store down because the strip mall went out of business, I probably lost close to $100,000
Oh.
of 1990 whatever money, because I wasn't making tons of money, but I had a lot of money coming in, and I had to sell. I had to sell my comic book collection, which helped me, But I lost a lot of money, and my wife put up with that shit. So, but some of my best friends, like Mark, who was at my armor party, and so they used to be customers at my store.
Mhm.
And if I other than the financial strain it put on me for a little while because of that, um, I wouldn't take those couple years back. I would have listened a little more to the business people when I started my store, but that was just me being. I was a way more stubborn and angry 20-some-year-old than I am now. Um, but like I don't think. I think I was too narrowly. I was too even back then. I was too narrowly focused to thinking of what what I thought I wanted to do, and not just if I would have just taken a breath and looked at things honestly, I would have probably still opened my store. If I would have just did my inventory slightly differently, and not let my own bias get in the way, I would have done better. But
Mhm.
I was a comic book guy. I was like, I got to fill this store with comic books, even though Magic cards and Warhammer were flying off the shelves, you know.
Yeah.
So
Hindsight is 2020, as they say.
yeah, but again, if people want to learn from me, like you want to take risks while you're young. I mean, if I said to Missy, if I went upstairs and said, "Hey, I want to, pursue a different career," she would support me. I just don't know at my age with two kids in college and everything else if that would be fair to everyone.
Mhm.
Um, you know, but
Yeah. See, my biggest thing is I'm very indecisive and I'm very scared of change.
see, I'm the
So,
opposite. I love change. I love I love I hate like other than teaching before that, like I just like I just gotta get another job. I can't do it. Like when I got out of the restaurant business, I went into the coffee shop business. I don't even drink coffee.
mhm.
I ran a coffee. I got tired of that. I bought another restaurant. I got tired of that, and I just drove truck for a while, ran a paintball field.
Yeah.
And right when I graduated college, I had the option of buying a paintball field from the guy. It's a very successful paintball field in PA. It's still going. Um, but the only reason I didn't buy it was I just finished college. I was like, I just spent all this money to go to college. I
Right.
I, I want to use some of that. Um, but yeah, I mean it's but I will tell you, man, chase what you want to do. You know, I mean, it's a fine because we don't, unfortunately, we live in a world where you have to make money to do things.
Right.
But I again I look at that documentary of Luke's film, and it's bittersweet to me because I was like that's what I really wanted to do, and I kind of always stepped around it, where I would have if I would have taken all that energy that I put into everything else and put it into that. I wouldn't have been anything big, but I might have been like a cameraman for the rest of my life. I would have been happy with that. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, it's just like you said. Unfortunately, we live in a world that requires money to do anything. So,
Right.
like, I've pondered like I just bought that Corvette. I've got equity in it. I've
Yes.
considered selling it, and just like, okay, well, I had my fun for a summer. I'm gonna be more realistic and you know put that towards something else. But at the same time, where it's like, oh, I always wanted that car. So
Well,
what
that's a
would be
good
the good
thing.
in that?
That's a good thing to be though, because there is a lot of people that put stuff off till it's too late. And I'd rather have a Corvette when I'm 20 something than when I'm 50 something.
Right.
Or have them at both times, which would even be better. So
Yeah, I don't know. Like right now, like I was saying, like I'm scared of change. So like I've got my current job that I might not have in 20 days. I've got a job offer on the table from something that I know I'm good at and I know I'd be happy with.
Do it. Do it.
See, everyone's saying that, but it's at the same time where it's like, okay, well, it's a little bit further than what I'm driving now. There's this, there's that, there's XYZ. There's the potential to make more money where I'm at now. But it's again, it's okay, I'll probably be happier at the other place,
Dude,
but I could
that's
also make more money.
dude, that's you can't put I you can't put a price on just being happy. You really can't.
Yeah.
Because the amount of when you're unhappy at somewhere, then you have to spend money so you make even less money. You have to
Right.
spend money to make I don't know. You know, that's what I mean that's I mean Star Wars is what makes me happy and again I as a teacher when I started incorporating more Star Wars into my room it made my job better,
Mhm.
you know. And again I'm at that point I'm you know it's nice now that my students like Star Wars again, but there was a while that they just thought I was a weird Star Wars guy. But when Force Awakens came out it was pretty cool. I used to take my armor in. I used to always have someone that wanted, you know, I take my armor in for students. But it's not with COVID. I don't really do that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know, and I haven't heard from the Inflatable Falcon people. I I'm still waiting for an event. There, you know, one of us are going to fall into an event that has an Inflatable Falcon because
Yeah.
someone's going to have a Star Wars themed something and have the 501st there, and there's going to be a Falcon. Now I won't be. You could almost bounce in it in Kylo, like if you took off your boots and your mask and with your hair, you could look like Kylo bouncing around.
Yeah.
And then you get your dad with his TK when he gets his TK.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking of just he doesn't want to build one. He wants one that's assembled, and I keep trying to tell him like that's not how it works. You're never
Well,
going to be able to find one that fits you
you got to get him to an armor
perfectly.
party. You got to get him. You got to get him to because sometimes as um, relatives are your best allies, but they're your worst when you're trying to convince them of something.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to convince them of something, they think of you as the idiot that did X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? And when you take them and they're like, wait a minute, this guy looks normal, and he's building an arm, he's building
Yeah.
because you get in and then you meet people of all different walks of life. I think that's the most fun with the costuming groups is
Mhm.
that cross section. You could be talking to a doctor and a barely employed person, and they're still talking to you about armor and you know what I mean. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, like for example, our CO, the Ohio Garrison CO, like if I would have had to like just a generalization just by seeing him, not
mhm.
including any of the conversations that I've had with him, but if it were just like where would you say this guy fits in like in society? I would say that is the most hipster looking guy. He probably drinks herbal tea and eats
He's a
his
vegan. No.
yeah, I that would probably be that, or he would be like the douchebag in high school.
Yeah, yeah,
Super nice guy, and obviously he's the CO
yeah,
of
yeah.
the Ohio Garrison. So it's like, yeah, no. If you would have just showed me a picture of our CO, I'd have been like, there's no way
Yep.
that's our CO.
Oh
So
yeah. And what's really neat about the costumes is when you see people's personalities change when they put that costume on.
yeah,
Like Marty would not get up in front of 20 people at a Weird Al concert. I mean a Weird Al Jeopardy game, but he'll be in Chewy in Philadelphia Stadium, dancing on the field in front of the whole stadium of people. You
right.
know, and Safi, who doesn't talk to anybody, you throw her in 000, she'll dance and do all kinds of nonsense. So
There's something about not being able to see your face
yeah, oh yeah.
that it.
Well, even Zoe though, if you put Zoe and Sabine, She has a swagger in Sabine she doesn't have when she walks in normal life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just she throws on the suit, you know.
Yeah, I'm still curious to find my groove as Kylo, because
Yeah,
I had
you'll
the most people I've worn it in front of would be you, Dan, and Ken. I think.
I know you'll get you have it in your Mando,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll
Yeah,
get it in Kylo, you know.
yeah. I think I need to wear it out. I need to finally troop in it and just put that to bed.
That's what Marty and I were saying this morning. We were like, we just need to put our costumes on and just go do things, because that was so much fun being. We were just along the highway. I was holding up, like signs, and people were beeping at us. You know what I mean? Just for the hell of it.
Ken and I were talking about that. We need
Yeah.
we need to find some time that all of us have available to where we can just get like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
Just go to like an ice cream stand, all in costume. Don't plan it, don't coordinate it
Yeah.
outside of
The group.
us.
Right.
Just go do it and just see people's reaction.
Well, that's why I want my Vader done. I don't care if I get it approved anytime quick, but I want to get my Vader done because it is so much easier to wear than a TK, which I never would have thought.
Well, I mean, it's mostly soft goods.
Yeah, I just thought the helmet was going to be harder, but the helmet's even not, because since I'm putting lifts in, I don't have to really stretch, try to stretch my neck. So
Yeah, and you've got wider lenses. You've got more space in the front.
yeah,
Because of how the triangle protrudes.
You can't really move your neck much though.
Well, yeah,
don't really have
it's
much.
like Batman.
Yeah, not the new Batman. He can move his neck. His is more of a just on top of his head. That's more of the Michael Keaton Batman is that neck move thing.
Oh no, that was ever. I think no, Robert Pattinson his comes down his neck.
Right, but he still has a little more side movement on his neck, and the same with the Christian Bale. He had a little more
because Affleck, Batman Begins, Christian Bale, Kilmer, Clooney, and Michael Keaton. They all had the full cow.
I like the bet. I'm still the Michael Keaton, and then the TV Batman.
Adam West. Yeah, he died on the day of my graduation party. That was
your fault. Just no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that because like he was at my graduation party when the news came out, and I'm like, oh my god, Adam West died, and everyone's like, who's Adam West?
I know.
I'm like, hold on, we're in the prime generation of Family Guy. Who he had a character. His character was named after him. Yeah. You don't know who Adam West is?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was a good Batman.
Oh yeah, I love Adam West. But tying into Family Guy, though, I had a very, very interesting occurrence on Monday. I was on my lunch break, and I've just been like super entrenched in like the behind the scenes stuff, and I was just watching like I had watched Carrie Fisher do the it was a Lifetime Achievement Award for George Lucas.
Yeah. And her speech.
Oh my god. And then after that was the Family Guy because she voiced Angela on Family Guy, and it was her funeral and her tribute. Oh my god, that choked me up so bad. And like I teared up at that. I was like, come on, it's 3:30 on a Monday. What am I doing sitting here crying in my car at a park?
She played a good character, which I doubt you ever watched Ugly Betty, but she played a good character on Ugly Betty. Carrie Fisher, she basically played like a caricature of herself for a couple episodes. But
she had it's pretty much the same deal. She had a good character in Entourage too.
Yeah, she was. Man, I remember when she passed. That was a bummer.
That was hard. That was a hard day.
Yeah, but like I said, I got to do a little more Star Wars than normal because I got the Troop the Reading Phillies game, which was really cool. I was surprised I didn't get in trouble because I didn't sign up. So who knows? I might get in trouble. But if
If
if if Safi would have been able to go, I would have. It was just too hot. I told Safi to stay home. I because if it would have taken, she would have been overheated by the time I bolted her in. But if she would have went, I would have probably taken my sand trooper to troop in because I would have trooped as a droid builder and I can wear anything I want. So, but I didn't want to be that much of a jackass.
If you get in trouble for that, I'd be pissed for the simple fact of you added another costume to add to the experience for those who are there.
Our garrison is known for capping events for only just for the sake of capping events. I guarantee you the Reading Phillies didn't say you can only bring 10 people. They probably said, hey, 10 sounds good. And a normal person would have said, hey, well, if we have more, is it okay? It's just our garrison. It's not your garrison. The garrison, Ohio is fine. Star Killer is fine. Old Line, Corellia, Northeast Remnant. It's everyone but ours. Just has these little rules that are basically made to remind us who's in charge.
Yeah,
like
that's why I like the transparency that we have.
Yeah,
with,
you
with
guys.
the Ohio garrison.
Yeah, you guys are, and I think sometimes people think. I've had this discussion with Marty too. I was like, you can not be a rule jackass and still have standards. You and see, perfect example. You probably run with you ever have those people at work that tell you stuff that they don't really need to tell you because you're going to do it. So then they feel like they can get credit for what you did.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're selling cars and you're going to probably sell whatever car X and everyone knows you're going to sell it. Then someone comes up to you, hey, just, I'm really proud of you. And it has nothing to do with them, but they just made it seem like whatever you just did is because of what they did. And we have a lot of people like that. We got like a Hill Street Blues type speech at the beginning of our troop. I've never seen that ever in my life. Like at that troop at the game, the one guy was like, okay, now look, everyone just go out there and make sure you get pictures with the kids and have fun. And this, I'm like, okay. Like it was like Captain Obvious jumped in and told us what we were supposed to do. So again, it's a small. I don't want anyone that listens. No one's listening right now, but anyone that jumps in and listens, I don't want anyone to think I'm saying anything about the 501st. It's just like when you say Star Wars fans are mean. It's not. They're not Star Wars fans. They're just mean people that say they are Star Wars fans. And the 501st, when you get people that are idiots, they're not. They don't understand what the 501st is about, and they're just power hungry fools.
Yeah, I cannot stand because like now that I'm in the group, I can finally. Yes. And like I don't want to say this like, oh well, I'm in the group now, I can say XYZ.
Yeah.
But like interacting even before I was in the group, interacting with you, Marty, Dan, everyone over in Karita Garrison or Garrison. Is it Garrison Karita?
Yeah, Karita. Garrison Karita.
Everyone over there, like just interacting with you guys, like I've heard a lot of negative stuff about the 501st, and like from my small sample size, I would be shocked. But and then like now that I've interacted with people closer to home, and like I'm in the group now, that I can see how these people act, I can see how they interact with other people, and then like go into those Facebook groups where it's like, oh, the 501st told me I had to cut my hair because I can't be an officer with long hair.
Yeah, that's not they can't. The groups we troop with officers that have goatees, glasses. They can't make you like do any of that stuff. We have an officer with a long ponytail, like his hair was as long as yours, and he just now. I mean, again, my only thing to anyone doing any character is just if you don't look like if you do a face character and your face doesn't match what they look like, don't get upset if people say stuff. I mean, if you don't look like Mark Hamill and you do a Luke Skywalker and someone says something, they probably shouldn't. It's not nice of them to say it, but that's just how people are. You know, I get, aren't you short for a stormtrooper all the time?
Yeah, it drives me nuts because like there was one because that post I sent you guys before it got deleted, there was a girl who's like, yeah, I'm in the Rebel Legion and I do a Mara Jade, but I can't wear contacts, like they irritate my eyes,
Yes.
so I have to wear prescription glasses. And yeah, Mara Jade doesn't wear glasses, but like I have to, and nobody says anything about it.
Right. Right. Well, there's a girl I want to say Instagram that her whole persona is um Ray with glasses. Like it's just like she just took it as and made it like a joke kind of thing, because I guess some people must have made fun of her. But that's like the overall the 501st is going to be good people. There is always, it's any group, you know, and it's funny because if you hear people when they, especially when they say about their experiences, their negative experiences with 501st members, it's almost always out of costume 501st members, because the ones who are really into it are in their costume doing what they're supposed to. It's that one or two guys that barely wear a costume and just sit there with their racing shirt on and bitch and moan to the people, you know. And then you can have problems with all groups. I mean, any group this big is going to have issues, but I have had other, you know, again, I ran for office, which was probably not the best thing to do, but you know, I misread the room, you know, when
I think you should do it again.
Oh, I have a mild plan of possibly doing it again. I just have to see what my mental capacity is when Zoe's off to school and this and that. But my plan is, if see, you haven't been through an election yet, so if you have election boards on your forum, go read some of the questioning and stuff that people ask, because it's I'm surprised anyone runs, because people get so stupid about stuff. You know, mainly my garrison. I have a copy of all the questions I was asked. I should dig them up and send them to you. Because they ask you, oh my, like you would think you're running for like a real office, and some of my answers they just didn't like, because they were just short. I'm not going to write like this, you know. And so I said I was talking to Marty, what was it, Friday? I don't know. I said to him, I said, I might just run and just answer things like exactly what, like, don't even sugarcoat it. Like, because I tried to be like nice about stuff, and I just might say, well, no, you know, because I think I might say, you know, like the one was like, how are you going to, I forget, the one question was worded something like, now, how are you going to make sure when we're present at cons, we blah, you know, something. And I give this flowery speech. But if I had to answer it now, I'd be like, let's just make sure it's not four grumpy people sitting there on their phones. That's what I like. I feel like I should just run and just answer that kind of like just call out every nonsense with no sugarcoating. And
well, I mean, look, and again, I don't know the people in all of the people in your garrison. However, I'm sure a lot of people would be like, oh shit, he's right.
I thought
he's
that,
just
man,
blunt about it.
I got I got beat. I got beat bad because I wanted to get rid of a few things that people liked. Like I wanted to have the admin meetings, or whatever, the commands meetings. They have command calls like once a week, and they all talk about stuff. I wanted to have it open to everybody to listen in, and they didn't want that. Like, you know, like there was like a campaign, but like in our garrison, so and we have a good garrison. We have 128, 130 some people.
Damn.
I think only like 30 some people voted.
What?
Something like that. Yeah, it was tiny. It was like less than 50% of our people voted. Like it was, and I think the person, or maybe it was like 30 some people voted for our current person. You know, I have to look the numbers up, but well, actually, you can probably look them up too. They're on the. You can go You should be able with your 501st number, you should be able to go to the elections and see the results of all the different garrisons. I like numbers, so I always like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we just had to it wasn't an election, it was more so just a vote. Because my squad leader had stepped
Mm-hmm.
down, and
Uh,
we had to vote in our squad XO into the squad lead position. And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we got a good majority of the people voted.
Well, that's good. Yeah, no, again, we just went through some growing pains, I think, in Karita, and I think what hurt our garrison was when I joined. Karita was Delaware, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. That was garrison Karita,
Wow.
and in a short period of time, now it's just Eastern PA,
Yeah.
and not like I understood the Delaware and West Virginia one because I always feel states in general, no matter where you live, have a different feel. You can
Mhm.
live 2 miles from someone and you live in Ohio and someone lives in Pennsylvania. It's a different feel. It's just how this country is. And so I always like the states, but the other divisions are just weird, like the middle of the state one that was not amicable. That was not an amicable split. And I think a lot of the problems we have nothing to do with me. Like I think when I just ran at the wrong time, and a lot of that penned up whatever got thrown at the guy, anyone who was not part of but I know
Yeah.
our Rebel Legion just split. The Rebel Legion in Pennsylvania just split as well.
Really? Are
Yeah,
they
so
splitting it down the middle like the 501st or?
I don't know because the Rebel Legion thing is a weird. It doesn't follow the same lines, you
Right.
know. So Zoe was telling me about it. I was like, I'm not
None
into
of
Rebel
us.
Legion. I don't really care. The
Yeah.
only the only the only way I would join the Rebel Legion is if I did like a Mando suit, like something like that could get me into. I don't picture myself. I at the Reading game, there was a guy with a fleet officer, which I always love seeing people in fleet officers because then we have a stormtrooper. It kind of balances out like the from New Hope. And he's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you should do that." And I told him, I said, "I just don't like that costume." I said, "Nothing against yours, but I like a stormtrooper." If
Yeah.
the Rebels had one, I would think about it. Um,
Yeah. See, I would do a deck officer, um, like an Echo based deck officer.
yeah, yeah, I can see
But
that.
my biggest problem with the Rebel Legion costumes is they're all, except for the clones, they're all soft goods. Like
Yeah,
there's no hard parts on any of those costumes.
yeah,
And I like a costume with a hard with actual like physical pieces.
right. Well, then Din Djarin can go in as Rebel Legion, I think.
I no, I think because we looked it up, and I think
Oh,
Din
okay.
is still only Mando Mercs and 501st,
Oh, I was
which
thinking.
baffles me that he's 501st.
Well, I think 501st got him as a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
That's because it's the same with the clones. It's weird that the clones are with Rebel Legion, even though I know technically they should be.
yeah.
But that to me is it's just when I think of Rebel Legion, I think of soft goods, like you said.
Hmm.
Poor
Yeah,
Chewie. I still
true.
think you should work on Chewie. Get your Chewie going after you get some miles on Kylo.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like I don't want to start a project. Like I don't want to start like a 501st or like a group project until I actually get some troops under my belt where it's like okay, I can kind of see how everything operates now.
Yeah, I want to do another armor, and right now I'm toss up. Like I'm not going to start. I want to get Vader done, but I want to do another Imperial armor, and it's like my clone. That clone's going to be easy. It's literally going to be a paint job.
Hmm.
Like it's already. I might have to. My stomach is a little fatter than the guy I bought it from, but everything else. But I'm still thinking Shore Trooper or Biker Scout.
Hmm.
That's the two I keep going back and forth on. Um, but after this heat wave, Biker Scout's looking better only because most of the Shore Troopers are 3D printed,
Right.
and I'm like, man, I don't, I, you know, because I don't feel like molding. Like I would mold Shore Trooper armor, but I just don't feel like the expense. That's just like that, you know, the
It's
expense.
going to be hard for you to make your money back on that.
Well, and I couldn't because I wouldn't own the files on that. And so
True.
as much as I try to, even though technically everyone's copying everything, I a lot of these guys give nice files. I'm not going to copy it. I'm not going to copy because I forget the guy who does the Shore Trooper, and he gives all the files for free. Hey, Arc 77's here. Cool.
That's about time. Only 2
know,
hours
right?
late.
I know. So that's the thing that keeps me from that, though. You know, depending on how my other I'm going to try C3PO. I'm going to try fiberglass. I'm going to try to do fiberglass for C3PO because right now Snappy's 000 weighs twice as much as Dan's Dan's C3PO, her 000. So if I can cut her 000 costume in half by using fiberglass, that will be my next attempt. But fiberglass is a totally different animal for molding. Like Marty and I can do a whole C3PO in 2 days when we slush it. I mean, we're beat and tired, but we can get it done. But when you do fiberglass, it could take a couple weeks because you got to paint it all in, the beauty layer. Then you got to go through and hand check to make sure the beauty layer is thick enough. And then you have to lay all the material, do another one. Then once you pull it out of the mold, you got to sand it and cut it, make sure there's no sharp parts. So it's a little more, and I don't know how I don't want to beat my molds up with fiberglass. Like you get that stuff in a Terra mold. I don't, because the chest mold and back mold for C3PO just in silicone alone is $400.
Jesus.
And they're not even done right. They were some of our first molds. I have to redo those because we just didn't know what we were doing when we first mold. So I'll be remaking those probably over the winter. I just got to try. I got to figure. I think I can salvage. I think I can make the mold on top of the old mold. Because my plan for the C3PO is to make the one-piece mold, so someone can make a standing one, like just like a bust up. But I just have to, I got the helmets, the 3PO heads will hopefully pay for my next set of molds. I just need to get enough money to make some molds.
Yeah. Now, what you should do is you need to make one for Marty so he can have 3PO and Chewie in the backpack.
He does have it.
Oh, he does.
We made one. He had one before, and then him and I part of when I started talking about building 000, I started talking about building 000 the same time he started about redoing his backpack, and so we kind of joined forces. And but it's funny that the three. So now we want our new molds, which again we're going to do piece by piece to try to finance the new molds. We want to make it that we can sell inexpensively a 3PO that you would literally just snap together. PVC, plug in, stand up, but alongside that, we could take those same molds without having to do anything, and you could make the Chewy backpack. And on top of that, you could then take those same molds and make 3PO leg lamps. The leg with the R2 head. So we're trying to make multi-use molds because most people don't wear 3PO suits. They cost so much, and then they're not comfortable to wear. And on top of that, if you don't have a person that you trust that can go to every event with you, you can't wear it. Like you can't just show up at an event to be C3PO and not know anyone.
Yeah.
Because of the cost of the suit, the cost of and the plating. Like even if you get a cheap, like if someone buys a C3PO kit from me, they're probably under $2,000, right? Which I don't really sell them anymore when I used to. That's not including the thousands of dollars they're going to spend getting it plated.
Yeah.
In one way, shape, or form. Because you have to get it expensive plated, or you have to do the cheapo way, which means you're going to constantly be like getting scratches and stuff like that. So,
Well, and not only that, but you have to be a very specific body type.
oh yeah.
So,
And again, you can with 3D printers, you can print it to your body type anyway, which is fine too. Except if you're really big and you can't be heavy. It doesn't matter. Like you can be tall and make it bigger, but you can't, like, I can't even fit it on my head.
mhm.
And I know guys that'll zoom it in and make a bigger 3PO, but it just doesn't look right. Like, you don't want an Incredible Hulk 3PO.
Like Dan and Safi, they are perfect for that costume. So, because they're slim and they're not too tall.
Dude, I was hanging with the 3POs in Orlando at the bash, the 501st bash. I looked like a big fatto because everyone was skinnier than the next. I don't know how I wound up. This was before I built 000. I was at the bash and Steve Sansweet brought all the video games. So the one whole wall was all the old vintage Star Wars video games of all time. And so we were playing, and then we started hanging out. And I look, and there's, at the time, Chris Bartlett, from The Mandalorian. He wasn't in it, but I was hanging with Chris Bartlett and Dan and this guy Christian and two other guys they were all 3POs except for me. They're like, oh, what do you? And they knew I was. They didn't say, oh, you're a C3PO. They're like, oh, what costume do you wear? Everyone else, you're like, oh, you're a C3PO, you're a C3PO, you're 000, you're a C3PO. So
hey, look, but on the bright side of that, they may be able to pull off 3PO, but they're not going to be able to pull off Vader as well as you are.
I am happy with Vader because my shoulders in my TK, my shoulders are too wide. But in Vader, it fills it out nice. Like I don't have to, like Marty had padding in his and it lifted. I don't need to do that. I'm like, I wish I was taller, but the lifts will do that. We have a Vader that's shorter than me in our garrison. And he doesn't wear lifts or anything.
By choice?
Yeah, by choice. Well, he doesn't want to trip, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking him, but I wouldn't choose. Like, if I was Toga, I would do Vader and a Death Trooper.
Yeah.
And he is working on a Death Trooper. And if he gets that done, he's going to come to Matt's movie thing because Matt needs an officer with a Death Trooper following him. And imagine in post, add that language of the Death Trooper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And we have another guy, Chris Freed. It's not quite as tall as Toga, but close, and he's doing Death Trooper as well.
See, that's very exciting for the simple fact of adding a Death Trooper to our hodgepodge group of people as it is. But it would be so much cool. It would be so cool if we had two people, like two Death Troopers.
Yeah.
Because they look better in pairs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're like Royal Guards. When Royal Guard shows up,
like
that's the like when you see them in pairs.
Yeah.
We just need another fan film. Like I want to find someone else doing a fan film because I'm getting impatient. Like I know Matt's working on his, and we're going to film some more. But I want to work on so many that there's something coming out. Like it's just I mean, just give me another one. See, like if there was enough fan films rolling, I honestly would consider taking my Anovos kit and molding all the pieces in rubber so we can make a stunt kit.
Yeah.
Because the rubber I use, like I just molded C-3PO's butt and the shorts. It's thick enough. It's the same rubber it's the rubber they use to make molds when you get like pressed concrete. Like if you want like looks like a stone walk, they get those big rubber molds and make the press the concrete. It's the same rubber. That stuff is so strong. And you can dye it any color. So we just dye it white and we just have one stunt suit that fits anybody. Okay, we need this guy to dye here, throw on the stunt suit.
Right. Oh. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. It's like I don't care that I have to drive, 6 hours to do it.
There has to be someone in Ohio.
I just haven't been angled enough.
There's probably is one. We need like a fan. It's almost like you need a fan film network that people like us, just like the forums where you go to look for a thing. You need to be able to just go look for a fan film.
Yeah.
Because I would think like Kylo would be a good person to have just in fan films.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's tons of Rays, but there's not as many Kylos.
I think that's just because Kylo is a much more intricate costume than people realize.
Oh, right. No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that makes Kylo in high demand. And you
True.
have the Kylo look. Like you could just like do your hair a little whatever, and you have the Kylo look too. There's a lot of guys that could Kylo and they pull it off, they look like me. Like that's not going to be any good.
Oh God, I want to do something. I haven't done anything in months now.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking here. Let me see.
I need a con, an armor party.
Should host an
a
armor
troop or
party.
something. What's that?
Should host an armor party.
I don't have the space. I mean, I've got the space. I don't have the. Let me rephrase that. I have the space. I don't have the. Oh, it's what I'm looking for. It's not just the nature of our property. It's not clean.
Oh, okay.
So in order to work on anything, because I'd have to do it outdoors.
Yeah,
because there's no space in the house.
Yeah.
But we've got a sand arena in the back that if there's anything going on, any wind, any horses out, that just kicks up an insane amount of sand. Or we've got our pasture out front that also has a 10-yard long dirt patch all the way across. So
I understand that. My place isn't bad. It's just parking's usually a bitch but like I said, the police aren't too bad in this development. I'm looking at Star Wars fan film. So there was a Star Wars fan film, the winners of 2021. Our group comes up.
Yeah. Are you looking on Facebook?
Yeah, because on the internet it just shows films that are already made.
Right.
I don't know. You just might have to write your own film, man.
I've thought about it, but at the same time, it's like I don't have the time nor the patience to actually put it into. Oh, Force Behind Star Wars tagged us in a post.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any film, but it has to be, get a good fan film written. You gotta you just gotta look for unique landmarks around, like either industrial looking or woods or something that just has that feel to it,
Yeah, we've got a I shit you not, right in my backyard. It's called Wingfoot. Oh God, I think it's Wingfoot State Park or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple really like interesting looking areas that
well you should float the idea on your garrison probably has like the open discussion, like the just what's the like we have I think it's called like shore leave or something like that on ours. They all have these like military terms and shit that I don't know what they mean. But it's for like open, like just open discussion, like unrelated to events or something like that. Yeah. You should just put, hey, is there any interest in Star Wars fan films or shorts? Or even photo shoots.
Yeah.
Because right now, especially in the summer, you got good light. Like, and if everyone starts to want to get cards and stuff, you get some really good photo shoots in.
Speaking of cards, I finally got mine.
Oh, did you?
And yeah, and it took me like 2 days after I got them to realize that my TK number is wrong. Okay, let me rephrase that. The number is not wrong. It's the designation. That's
what is it? SL?
Yep. Kylo's the only one in the Sith Lord detachment that doesn't have the SL tag.
How many cards did you buy?
0, but I don't have the heart to email the guy back and be like, by the way, it's DS.
Oh, dude, you should I would just do it. Just tell the guy, because he might not know, and he might be doing that to everybody's cards.
Right.
Because that was new to me, because I thought he was a Sith Lord. So I don't know when that probably changed, and I probably got a text or an email about it and just didn't read it. So
I might. I don't know.
Yeah, because you gotta get your cards.
Yeah,
And
it's
you could,
it's not the end of the world because technically, like he's still SL.
dude,
It's just
make
depends on
sure.
who you
Just
ask.
tell them. Just tell the guy. Just say, hey, look, dude, these because you'll be helping him, and you don't want that. You want the right designation. I know it's a pain, but you want to do it. You don't want to have to hand your cards out and then say, oh, and it's not really. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm looking. Yeah, we trooped with Howard, who has the First Order Flame Trooper. Talk about the most uncomfortable looking costume ever. But he has a scout, biker scout, First Order Flame Trooper, and then he also has a Cylon from 1970s Battlestar
Battlestar?
Galactica. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's
that is
really cool.
yeah. Jeff Leone, he played one of the stormtroopers in the Mandalorian. He's friends with me because he also does the white protocol droid from Empire Strikes Back, and he bought some parts from me. So we became friends. But anyway, he sent me a link to join he's now in the Battlestar Galactica cosplay group.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here's that for you.
Let me see.
Yeah, share that with the world. I love the Warmark cards.
Now, is that the front or the back?
Both.
Well, this is the front and this is the back.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. This is the front. This is the back.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Warmark cards.
Yeah, dude. I would tell him though about the SL. Just tell him because you don't want the wrong detachment. You know.
Right.
Kids will love it. That's cool.
Yeah. Now I just need to wait for them to reopen the Sith Lord detachment cards.
Oh yeah.
Because the way they do it is weird. Because they're like, all right, we're only going to do it in groups of 5, but it's not open all the time. So we're going to be real selective about the groups of 5 that we do.
Oh, okay.
So I said fuck it. I'm like, I'm just going to send all my information out, put a comment on the thread and be like, hey, I sent my information out whenever this opens back up. So
yeah, I've never had cards made for me. I've always made them for the girls, and I should probably get a set of cards done. Trying to look and see if. Yeah, let's see.
I just realized you can see my hair in the picture of the front of my card.
Let me see. Where?
Right here. It's only because I notice it, but
yeah, you know, like, and you also got to remember that's going to be card size.
You're right.
You know?
I noticed that and I'm like, oh, that's my hair.
Yeah. I don't think you have anything to worry about that.
Yeah, and I'm still like I haven't fully committed, but I don't know if I'm gonna do the balaclava or not. For the simple fact of because I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I my face in particular overheats pretty easily.
Yeah.
And that's half the reason I cut my hair. If I need to, I can take my helmet off. And I still would have the look, but if I'm wearing the balaclava, then that destroys.
You can always just wear a headband, like a hairband or headband, if it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and my hair in the back is long enough that I can still put it in a hair tie, and I just have like a little rat tail, but like nobody would see it in the back because of the hood.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna play with it, see what works, what doesn't.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, dude, I think they shipped my. I think they shipped my. I don't even know who this is from. I think they might have shipped my Sabine helmet.
Oh,
I don't know how to check this company. It doesn't tell me what company it's from. Well, when I was on TikTok, the guy, remember, you don't know him, but the guy from Ruby's that worked at Ruby's
yeah.
he said, I think I was working on an order of yours. And I was like, okay. I said, the only thing I can think of that it might be um, is that. That's the only thing I would have ordered from Ruby's, but who knows?
Does Ruby's work with the
The,
new
the
Innova
new
company?
Anovos it was it was bought by Ruby's.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I mean, what better company? They already make, you know, the stuff, the TK armor. If they ever come around and make that, I remember when Anovos first started making the TKs, they were so proud of their steel molds. Because most molds are made of a clay and they wear out over time. And they were
Yeah.
like, look, we got these stainless steel molds. They're not going excuse me, they're not going to vacuum. They're going to work forever. So, um, I don't know.
Do they not still have those molds?
Well, the Novos just disbanded, so I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how that worked. Like a Novos was here one day and then they were just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I had an order with them, so I was like I'd be sending them email. And then it first started at Chicago Celebration. There was a Novos booth there. No one was there. Like there was no one to talk to, and a few times the person would show up, and people started talking, they would just disappear. And then when we went to the replacement of a Novos, they when I talked to them, they said part of I guess what Disney said is if you're going to take over these license, you have to fix as much of the damage that a Novos did as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
so
I
they,
mean,
and they said to me, they said, "Well, what did you order?" And I said, "I ordered the Jinner So complete outfit. It was like I think it was like $4.25 or something like that, or $3.99 or something like that for the whole thing." And I said I ordered it whenever Rogue One came out. That's when I ordered it. And he said, "Well, when you get back, just give me my number." So I give him the number, and they said, "Okay, just pick anything we have, and you can have it. Anything." And so I said, "Well, the two helmets I was looking at was the Mandalorian helmet and the Sabine helmet." And the Mandalorian helmet was in stock. They would have sent it to me right away. But I was like, you know what? I already have the Black Series. And her season 2 helmet is the Mandalorian Arsenal helmet, which is garbage. Um, but he was the only one that made him at the time. So I was just like, well, I'll take the season 2. You know,
right.
so and it was supposed to come out, but it wasn't out yet. And they said it's supposed to come out anytime between July and September. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we are right in the middle of July and September.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Right.
one more Mando helmet to put on the show. I think her season 2 bucket I would never get rid of because it was signed by Tia.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll display Mando helmets all around. I can't think of a Mando helmet I don't like. I don't like the skull one, the one with the skull in the front.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I know the guy that made that. I just don't like that helmet.
Yeah, I think I agree with you because the as long as the core is there,
You need
like
a T. You need a T. Like it has to have
yeah,
that T visor. And if you're
yeah, any variation of that, then you start losing the what makes a Mando helmet.
yeah.
But I don't think I don't think you can have a bad paint job.
No. And I like those. There's those hunter ones that are like they're like a little more high tech. Like the earpieces are like rounded, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
They're like more streamlined looking. I've
Yeah.
seen a couple guys do that. Enemy Props does some really nice ones. And I can't if when it comes to if I have to buy a cast helmet, I check enemy props first.
Yeah.
Or John Rodriguez, he works for Enemy Props, so he's somehow allowed to sell their stuff. He's on Facebook and Instagram. His stuff is really nice too. He does Hunter. He does cosplays Hunter. So he was the one on Celebration stage. But he's a good guy. But he does some good helmets as well.
Yeah, oh god. Speaking of other costumes that I want to do, Galactic Armory just released the files for the realistic Rex for the
Nice.
full armor set.
Oh no, I'm still animated. I'm still animated guy on the clones, but I do appreciate the realistic Rex. But man, the guys that wear that realistic armor, man, that's a tough sell.
Yeah,
because everyone I know, I only know 2 guys that have realistic armor, and they're both small guys. The one guy, his helmet goes on, and then there's magnetic things that actually clip up under his chin, and he just looks so uncomfortable in it, like so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. A lot of guys do the back plate, like the
yeah.
You just got like a strap that hangs down.
Yeah,
and then it just magnetically seals into place.
Well, he has that too, but then he has some undercut that magnetically up it, so you can't look up under his helmet too.
Right.
I don't know. We have an ARF trooper in Eastern PA, which is it's the gray, with it looks like the biker scout version of the animated. Yeah. His is nice, but he's a real thin guy too. The animated stuff, that's why like I can do Keeley because of all the commoners and all that kind of stuff, but the regular clones, man, you got to be pretty thin.
Yeah, I think if I'm doing a clone, it's either going to be Rex or Wolf, just because I like the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I have 5 clone helmets in the garage. I think I'm going to paint them all Wolf Pack. I'm just going to do a today or tomorrow or Friday. I'm going to cut all the T visors out, or all the visors out, and I'm probably just going to paint the whole front light gray, paint the whole, the everything gray, and then I'll put the the stencils on them, and then hit them with white, like I did this guy, like I did Rex, which he's going away. That's for Zoe's friend.
Yeah, it's gonna be sad to see that one go.
This one, this one's the wider one. I like my thinner one better. My helmet will be the thinner version of this, but man, I tell you, I honestly cannot say how much I love the Cricket.
Yeah,
just for those stencils. Because at first I thought I was going to use stickers, and I was like, man, they're even better as stencils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the crickets are fantastic.
So,
yeah, I think another project that I know I'm gonna regret doing, but I want to do it, is I want to make my kit box. I want to because Odd Viking, we've talked about him a couple times on here. He posted a couple of tutorials on like how to Star Warsify your kit boxes.
Did you ever see Marcus's? Marcus did a good job of his too. He was the trooper with us at His is nicely weathered as well. But I have the husky one, which I like, but my one wheel is looking a little weird. I'm like, I'm gonna regret when I gotta buy it, because I think they're almost $100 now.
Yeah,
they were like $50 when I bought mine.
Yeah, because they're the 55-gallon ones, aren't they?
Yeah, and well, Safi's is, I forget what Safi's is. Hers is even bigger because 000 needs more space. I forget what brand hers is, but yeah, I think the Huskies are the 55-gallon ones or something like that. I recommend, just because I like mine that it can be sat on and my stuff doesn't get crushed.
Yeah,
because my first one it would crush. You couldn't sit on it. But it's tough because like your car is probably harder to put a bigger kit in. See, I have the minivan.
Well, I'm maxed out.
Yeah.
With one tote, I'm maxed out.
Yeah. See, I have to fit, at minimum 3 totes and a table. Like when me, Zoe, and Safi all troop, it's 3 totes and a table, and usually one helmet bag and one head bag. Just like when we go to Steel City, if we each take one costume and suitcases, and if Missy goes, the van's packed. Like it's, you know,
Yeah.
Because like I said, 000 is one entire biggest tote plus a head bag for the head.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I make the fiberglass legs and all that, I can nest them then, because the other stuff I have to have special padding so it doesn't deform and stuff like that. I can probably shrink a lot of that down for the fiberglass. But the TKs, you can make. I can do them pretty small too. Sabine's pretty easy. Sabine, we're working on when she gets the 5th one done. We're going to see if we can get one tote that we can fit all 5 seasons of Sabine in. Because I can put outer pockets, and then the helmets will nest in. The big thing is just going to be able to fit all 5 helmets in, because all the other stuff is relatively small.
Yeah, I mean the armor. I mean the armor pieces are fairly small in comparison to most things. And then,
like I said, if I'm thinking of putting pouches around the whole outside, and it'd be like, okay, all the chest armor goes down this side, leg armor, so then the center will be hollow, and then I just got to figure out how to put the wigs and the helmets.
Right.
When we were going to the Phillies game, we got 45 minutes away from home and realized we forgot her wig.
Oh, jeez.
So, because I have everything out. So when you have everything out, you have to make sure you get everything back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yeah. See, I know the one thing that I'm going to be most susceptible to forget for Kylo is my lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I've got displayed.
Well, you should. So I think what I'm going to do for her Sabine's is I'm going to take an index card and laminate it and put it on a clip and clip it on the latch of her tote. And it just says wig. So just, okay, did we get the wig? You know what I mean? And so you should do something like that with your lightsaber, or take your lightsaber case and put it in your tote.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's just sitting on top of my tote. But the other problem is like a problem that I didn't find out until after I had gotten it with the Force Effects Elite lightsaber. Because like my biggest thing was like, I actually could, realistically deconstruct all this and, have it packaged safely. Because like with the other one, with the original Black Series that came with the kit, the blades were fixed. You couldn't take them out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I can get all this disassembled and, easily transport it. The blades are so bad because it was the first one they did with removable blades. So if they're not perfectly sat in there, and it's a pain to get them sat in, or else they won't turn on.
Now, can you? So that's in a guitar case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take it apart so they don't get jostled around? Is that what you're saying, or are you just thinking it? So you should probably take foam. Go to Joann's and buy a piece of foam, and make it 3 layers. Make the first layer solid, the second layer trace the lightsaber, and cut it out, and then make it so it nests in a piece of foam that fits in your guitar bag.
I was thinking about getting like a Pelican case.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean it's a $300 lightsaber. Well,
you could go to Harbor Freight. Don't they have like those pretty nice gun cases and stuff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got cases that I could use if need be.
No, but I got this is one of these guys.
Yeah.
I got this. That's all Zoe's audio equipment for when we do like remote podcasting and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got that at Harbor Freight, and you can pull the foam out and make whatever shape you want.
Yeah. So I might do that because I don't want anything to get damaged.
Yeah, Marty's worried about my Tuscan rifle because he thinks I should split it in half because it's going to be 6 foot long. And I was like, I don't know. I just might just get a long just sew a bag and just slide over it because I just like the idea of a 6 foot long Tuscan rifle.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't break that up.
No.
Because the other problem is, you got to make sure you're able to get it back together exactly right every single time.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But hey, what are we gonna do, right?
Right. Yeah, it's interesting life that we live in the.
I know we're worried about Tuscan rifles, and hey, I've earned the top fan badge for Magic Jump. I'm going to display my badge. I don't know what that means, but I don't know where my badge gets. Just on Facebook.
Nice.
So I don't know, but I think we're going to cut this one short, man, because it's like 10:40, and I think we've overtalked our Star Wars. But
yeah.
But I think when Ken's here, I think we should. I'm thinking. I think because of everything we have coming to this, I think we would benefit from a format.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think it just it was fun while it lasted the ever 5-hour thingamajigs, but I don't know if that was doing anyone any favors, because our listeners are only going to chime in at a certain amount, and then we can, and I think we'd have a better chance of get some guests and stuff. Like I'm going to try to. I don't think I can do it next week, but maybe you can run those things by Ken. Ken's more of an organized thing, and I think you have the hosting thing down. Down to for your Beskar bucket, because to me, I'm thinking if we did a whatever, say all of our segments come out to be 45 minutes, then that still gives us another 45 minutes of fill-in, or if we want to do something special, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I mean, because we, especially when trooping season, and because we could do recaps of shows, we could do, hey, what were you trooping? I don't know if you've listened to any of the 500 First Cast, but they have some neat ways they do their segments and stuff like that. That's my.
And I mean, not you said it was fun while it lasted, but I mean, like, we can still do like 2 hour and a half long shows in one sitting.
Yeah.
So that's just an extra episode.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, the I just think the form has to progress, or if we're still doing, if our show is just still, if we haven't improved on just a little bit in a year, then I don't know, like, because all the podcasts, they kind of learn their stride. And I think with 3 of us, I think we have enough different things that we can add to it.
Right.
And you have the cool banner, which is an awesome.
Hey, when we're in London at our live panel, we'll have something to display.
Here, wait, did I ever show you Zoe's banner?
The one from Chicago?
Yeah, the one with her and Lizzie standing.
Ooh, no.
Hang on.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is their.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the one that you stole from Chicago.
No. This is their Star Wars Geek Girl podcast banner.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, hey, look, we've got one for me. Now we just need to get one for you and Ken.
Yeah.
And they come in all different shapes and sizes.
Oh, I know. Well, see, like I said, I bought one for Zoe for her dorm room of that painting that Sabine did of the Ghost Crew. But, well, the other thing is, now does the Ohio Garrison have a podcast?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because here would be my recommendation to you. First off, like when you do your first when you do your first troop, right? Take their mission report, add a little bit to it, and send it into the 501st cast. Right?
Okay.
Because they when you hear them say mission reports, someone from the garrison has to send it in.
Mm-hmm.
So you start sending in mission reports from them. Even if, you could even do it now. Start sending, because probably no one does it because no one thinks about it, or it's just one more thing someone has to do. But you start doing that, and then you start sending in, like when you go to a mission, just write up your own little thing, not the mission report, write up your own thing, send it to them. And then you're ready to get moved into the PR person for Ohio.
Good point. Good point.
And then when they start having events, you're like, hey, I could bring, like I said, you go to these local cons and you say, look, I have a podcast called whatever. Do you have any openings? Because like it could, Zoe's done little tiny cons, big cons. You could just sit with a Zoom recorder or your phone and a microphone and yap on for a few, and or do a panel on 501st, because a lot of the panels I've seen on the 501st aren't hitting the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Because they either turn into someone talking about, oh, you're gonna have to spend $1 billion to be Vader, or they're just not good communicators to the people that want to hear it.
Right.
So put yourself out there.
Yeah, I need to. I need to step out of my comfort zone.
Well, you do well. Your podcast, you have a broadcaster's type voice, and you have a good cadence, and I don't know, no, but I mean, I hear and I've even said it to Zoe, sometimes she mumbles off at the end of her words and stuff like that, and she's better at it now, but it took her years to get that way, where you're in episode 5 and you're doing that. So
it's all right. I've been told I've got the face for radio several times.
well, I've been told that too. But no, I mean, Steel City, just get a cheap Zoom recorder or a Zoom attachment for your phone and sit in the lobby of the hotel and record a podcast, because that background noise is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to use my tavern music, which I
like that. I like that.
I don't know why. I always liked when a podcast or the video essays on YouTube, when there's subtle music behind it, just to cut cut the dead air.
Yeah,
I think that makes it so much better.
And you don't have much dead air because you have a good sense of, like, I don't know other to say than just sounds. Like you know how to drag a sound out while you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like a or a, like that. It just kind of keeps everything there. So
well, that's my ADD for you.
Well, it works. But yeah, I mean, like, I think if we get a format going for us, we get a I mean, there's some with no format, but I think just for when you have multiple hosts, the format tends to work a little better. Like, just so we make sure we cover everything. And again, as trooping season kicks in and all start trooping and things start happening with Andor and all that, then we're sure not to miss things.
Yeah, and just kind of back to what you're saying. It took me 2.5 hours to think of this, but I think that we kind of hit the mark on everything you would need for a good podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we've got Ken, who's the super organized, keeps us on track because you and I can ramble on for hours.
Yep.
But Ken makes sure to steer the ship and get us back on track.
Yep.
All the audio and the behind the scenes stuff, and you can also carry a conversation extremely
I just pretend.
well.
I pretend very well.
Well, I mean, you've pretended to at least one successful show with Zoe's show, and then I'm not gonna break my leg getting on my high horse, but as you said, I know I can keep a conversation lively. I can keep pace up, but
I still think you should get your dad on there though.
So believe it or not, this week I did have that conversation with him. It did not go well, and
No.
he is likely not going to be on the show anytime.
Now, what was it? What was his reasons for not wanting to do it?
Oh, he asked me if he could, and I was like, "That's fine, but we've got ground rules."
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "Well, you know, I'll be sure to follow it." And I followed that up with like, "Okay, how would you answer this question?" And like, arbitrary number, he broke 6 of the ground rules in 3 sentences. It's like,
yeah, but maybe is there a side of his Star Wars fandom that could just be an interview that would be easier for you to not have to edit something?
it's not so much that I'm worried about editing anything. Like look, he and I are both Italian. We swear like sailors as it is. So I mean,
I'm Sicilian, so I understand.
Us too. Most people just don't know the difference. So,
don't tell that to the right Italian.
You're right, but yeah. So like I know I have a pretty good presence about what I say, how I say, when I say, but I am not worried about that. I'll just throw the explicit tag on it and call it a day. It's more so some of the things that he could say makes me nervous.
Just don't record it live. I mean, just don't broadcast it live.
True. But I finally got him. Okay, let me put it to you this way. I finally got him to go from, only the original trilogy is the good Star Wars to now he thoroughly enjoys the prequels, which he'll tell you that he always liked them.
Oh,
which I find to be a crock of shit.
Yeah, I know.
And then I finally got him to watch the Clone Wars, and he likes the shows that have come out.
Yeah.
But like he hasn't gone that far, but I cannot get him to say a nice thing about the sequel trilogy or any of the new characters.
Then you just stay off of that topic, because the part of our fandom of our fandom network is he can dislike them, but then he just doesn't talk about them. Like I have no problem with someone not like it. Then you just like, that's not what we're about, like, because that's what I would think would be the or just, I mean, yeah. like for him, you just find like, even if you took like some of the toys that now he had that you have, just that conversation alone, if you just like or a 10-minute interview of, what do you think that I have X amount of copies of this?
He hates it. He hates it so much. But that's from a fatherly perspective of like, you spent how much on this?
Well, yeah, you don't want to get into that anyway. But like, what would be a neat interview is if you would talk to him about the 501st before you troop, and then you get him to just go see you troop, and then do a follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Because
again, it's a different animal once you see it in action.
Yeah, I've been toying with ideas of how I could do it and not be problematic for my own sake and for whatever audience sake I have.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think I was on Zoe's show for the first 5 years, so
Yeah, but at some point I will figure out a way how I can get him on and see how I can do it. But he'll be on at some point, just maybe not anytime soon.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we'll close this one out there, and again, I won't be here next week, so you and Ken will have to pilot it on your own.
Yeah, like I said, I might if I don't get an episode of the Beskar Bucket done in the next couple days, I'll be like, hey, let's do another episode of the Beskar Bucket.
Nice.
So, but yeah, wow, this is a really short one for us. Only 2.5 hours.
Oh, I know. Well, we're getting towards that. We're getting towards that sweet spot. All right, man. Well, I will talk to you later. I am going to head out and see how hot it is outside, and maybe pour one more coat of liquid rubber. So.
Oh, it sounds like a bash. I'm gonna hit the bed.
All right, man.
I gotta work in the morning. So
I will talk to you later. Thank you for anyone watching this, and have a good one.
all right, take care, y'all.
Later.